Lesson 8.1, we're going to look at recognizing statistical questions. So page 453, Ms. Jackson wrote a question on the board. She collected student responses to the question, recorded them in a tally chart. What question could she have asked? Is there more than one possible response to the question? So you can see the tally chart, or sometimes if we have another column after this, might be called the frequency table. So we can think about what kind of question she might have asked to get that kind of response. How many books do you have at home? Good. How many books did you buy at the book fair?
How many books did you read this quarter?
How many books did you read this quarter?
I was going to say that, but also like how many books you own at home? Or like how many books you have in your house?
How many books do you have in your house? How many mystery books do you have? Good. Okay, so lots of different options for a question that could have been asked to get this response. So look at example 1. Mr. Borden asked his students a question and recorded the data in a table. What question did Mr. Borden ask? So we look at our table here. We can see some information there that's going to give this away pretty easily. The question either was, what is the area of an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of notebook paper? How many sheets of paper did you use last week? Or did Bill use notebook paper to write his book report? So the second one would be the only one that would really make sense there, given the title and the responses there. Good. Okay, so that would be the question. So this is what's called a statistical question. Statistical question always has a variability in the responses, or another way of saying that, I would say, is that it has more than one answer. So if they give us a question that has more than one answer, it's a statistical question. If it only has one answer, then it's not a statistical question. With this word statistical, there's math that's called statistics. Is something you guys will maybe have an option in high school or college to take a statistics class. In sports, you will hear this sometimes abbreviated as stats. Stats is abbreviation for statistics. So we can look at some options here that they mention in the book. How many sheets of paper did you use last week? Has a variety of answers, so that would be statistical. The other questions really only have one correct answer anyway. What is the area of the sheet of notebook paper? And did Bill use notebook paper to write his book report? Okay, only one answer, so that's not statistical. So obviously the question we already mentioned, which question he asked to get this response. So we look at the try it. Is the question, what was the high temperature on March 8th of last year? A statistical question, and explain. So this problem, or this question, could be argued. Initially, if we don't get too crazy thinking about this, then we might say no, there's only one correct answer. If you think about it really specifically here, it doesn't say where we are. So, you know, if we're just randomly asking people that might be from different areas, different cities, states, parts of the world, whatever, obviously that's going to affect that they're going to have different high temperatures. Okay? Even affecting that more, I guess, would be the fact if we ask people from other countries, they are going to have even different units for their answer. They would be giving us in Celsius rather than Fahrenheit answers. But technically, if we're just talking about one specific location, then there would be only one correct answer. So convince me, how could you change the question above to make it a statistical question? So different options, obviously, for this. We could have said something about, different cities. What was the high temperature March 8th last year? We could change, rather than it just being a specific day, we could say what were the daily high temperatures for each day in March last year. By making it opening it up to several different days, then that would have more than one answer, would make it a statistical question. Look at example 2. Lucia surveyed the students in her class and made a dot plot of the results. What question could Lucia have asked? So this is called a dot plot. It's basically they have a number line and they put some dots above it. Sometimes instead of a dot plot, they might have a line plot, which is basically the same thing, only they might put X's instead of dots. Basically the same idea, just different symbols being used. So if we look at the title and the label underneath the number line, we see students' weekly exercise and number of days. So what question could Lucia have asked? It's got to have been something similar to this. How many days do you exercise each week? Okay? So if we look at the try it, it says, what is another statistical question Lucia might ask about the exercise the students in her class do each week? Here are some other different possibilities. How many different exercises have you done this year? How long did you exercise this week? How many calories did you burn by exercising? How many hours did you exercise this week? What type of exercise do you like best? Again, all of these have multiple answers, multiple responses that would be possible, and so all of those would be statistical questions.